Hey, look at us, Folletonians, back, coming at you. Episode 199, Ped.
We
Can you
should have
believe
well
that?
crossed 200 by now, shouldn't we? Really, to be honest, we've
Well,
been.
yeah, we probably should be about 250, but life happens,
You know that
and
that Duncan Ferguson interview was,
it's pretty something awesome.
that was all right, wasn't it? That
Yeah,
wasn't
it
that
was
wasn't
okay.
that wasn't a
I,
bad. That could be all
I,
thick
I,
and
I
tall.
do remember, like, whenever we first started this thing, asking you, if there was one Everton player that you would love to interview for the podcast, who would it be? And you're like, well, uh, it's not going to ever happen because he's just kind of very reclusive and he just doesn't have anything to do with the club. But a dream get for you would be Duncan Ferguson, and you know, 5.5 years later, there you go.
Yeah, there
This
is.
is the sixth season of Folletonians.
Yeah, it is.
Man, we
And
used to look a whole lot better than we do now.
well,
Thank goodness for audio only.
speak for yourself.
Yeah, I know you look a hell of a lot worse.
Some of us. Well, it is 3 a.m. in the morning.
Well,
Some of
yeah, but you're
us.
just a cab driver, so
I'm just a cab driver. That's all I am. I don't do anything else. Um,
you
no,
don't get paid to do anything else.
no,
You don't even get paid to drive a cab.
and basically your life is defined by what you get paid for, isn't it? Not the experiences,
Which is yeah,
accumulated during your
yeah.
life.
Which is
Like,
kind of funny because you're supposed to do what you like to do when you're not getting paid.
yeah, yeah,
That's like for a career, you're supposed to sit down and figure out what would you do if you didn't need money or didn't have to get paid,
yeah.
and that's what you're supposed to figure out how to make a career out of. So hopefully one day you'll grow up, Ed.
I don't want to ever grow up. I don't really care. I do what I want, and that's what's
You
great.
wanna
And
remain a Toys R Us kid?
finally got to meet my hero, and I didn't freak out, and I asked him sensible questions, and other people asked him sensible questions, and it was all good. And what a lovely man, and that that's it. There's no. I finally got to do what I wanted to do, and I did it in a professional manner, and didn't freak out, and it was all good. And
It wasn't like me talking to Landon for the first time.
to be, it was pretty much the same at the time as
Yeah,
well. I think we were
yeah,
both a little. We've both grown up since that. We've learned how to do this thing a little bit. I think I'd like to think.
yeah. There's less ceiling fan noise in the background. There's less robot ped than there used to be, and
Don't speak too early.
well, yeah, you just need a new computer, but
I'm never getting a new computer. That's not
probably
gonna
not.
happen. Not for the sake of something I can just turn my microphone off for.
Right. Um, no, but it's fun. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Listen, no, it doesn't. It's not. It's not a chore, is it? It doesn't. It doesn't need to be a chore. It's never been a chore. Well, it has at times been a chore, but
yeah,
um, that's
yeah.
it's what you make of it. Don't put pressure. Don't put pressure on yourself.
It has been a very great big pressure release for us whenever things get really bad at Goodison Park. Um, and over the 5 years, on average it's been a little better than average, I guess. But it would be nice to get a piece of silverware sometime, be
Sometime.
able to talk about it on the show,
Be
be able
nice.
to have a bit of glory.
Yeah. Would be,
Will
wouldn't it
that
be
will
nice to?
that happen this year, Ped?
I don't know. I think it is quite early to get into matters of trophy. I mean, we ain't winning the Premier League. I mean, that's for sure. But no, who knows? I mean, we got Barnsley in the first round or second round of the League
Yeah.
Cup away. So
Villa will probably run away with
we
it this
start
year.
we start there, don't we? And it's just a case of taking it as seriously as he took the Europa League last season, I think. And if he does that, I think we can go quite far and get a little bit of luck here and there, and that's
Yeah,
what
I
you
was
need.
I was hoping that Watford that we could have like pretended that they were Wolfsburg,
Mm.
but that didn't happen.
No, well, you play we play teams like Wolfsburg, and we seem to have a tactical plan. That seems to be the difference. When we play teams that are obviously,
Yeah, very very much counterattack.
yeah, and that's what we're really good at, and that's what we've done in the last couple of seasons that have been our best performances. You know, away at Wolfsburg, you know, home against Manchester United, at home against Arsenal the season before. You know, even when we went to Young Boys, and you know, we all thought it was, you know, it was going to be a hard game. We played on the counter attack and we ended up winning 4-1. We are at our best a counter attacking side, and the only time we seem to play it is when we play against teams that are supposed to be better than us. And that's when we tend to do it, and that's when Martinez is at his best.
Yeah,
It's when teams come to Goodison Park and, you know, set their stall out, but we allow them to set the stall because they know what our tactics are going to be. Whereas
yeah.
sometimes maybe we should be a little bit more savvy and play.
Even whenever we concede early.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're not gonna go too much into detail on Saturday because I know we've got a few other things to talk about,
It's
but
been a while. It's been a while,
But
Ben.
I think, you know, on Saturday what it showed, by being 1-0 behind at half time, it meant that we had to go at a team and put them under pressure. And I don't understand why we don't play like that all the time. When there seems to be a pressure on the team start to try and inject a little bit of pace into the game and try
Does
and,
does the manager need to turn the screw?
yeah, it comes from the manager. It's as simple as that. I mean, you know, I think over the last couple of seasons, you know, we've given pretty much a easy ride. But I think, you know, questions have got to start being asked of the manager and what he's doing because, you know,
It's third year.
you come into that game on Saturday as a fan and you've got all your new season hopes and, you know,
There's no World Cup excuses. There's
no,
no
no.
we didn't have a preseason excuses.
Well, I was walking around the ground before the game, and you know, you got that feeling. You know, it was nice and sunny, and everyone was in the new shirts, and there's that kind of atmosphere that we can do something this season. And you know, as you mentioned, you know,
Oh, the new shirts are available to be purchased now?
the two of them.
Two of
Um,
them. Okay.
Pre-season was it wasn't spectacular, but what I'll tell you what it was more of just like a fitness exercise this year. He took it very very seriously fitness wise. You know, we
You're
went to
talking about the first half of the Watford game?
no,
No, okay.
I'm talking about pre-season.
Oh, I
We,
didn't think we were talking about the Watford game very much, but
Oh, no, and that's why we're not talking about it. But you know, pre-season it was a lot more sort of. It seemed like it was a lot more based on just getting players fit, and you know, I think that's a change for him because I think the season, you know, last summer it was disjointed, and he wanted to play against teams that was going to test them with the ball and without the ball, and this year it just feels like he wants to get players fit, and you go into that game with Watford, and first half it was almost like the joy was sucked out of the ground because it was just so much the same um,
last year.
as last year. And you know, there was only Cleverly on the pitch, so you don't really get that sort of new player enthusiasm as well. I mean, Cleverly I thought had a decent game, just fitted right in, and they didn't, you know, it wasn't like he did anything spectacular, and it just felt like he was part of the furniture, which went against him because the game was just first half certainly just felt very much like a game last season at home. So that can get people down, and I think the manager has to take responsibility for that because he hasn't brought many players in, and also because he set the team up exactly the same as he set them up last season against these kind of teams. You know, and I just don't think we need to do that anymore. I just think, you know, by having someone like Cleverly in there, by having, you know, Ross Barkley, who he's, you know, talking about, you know, he's sort of saying this is going to be his season, and having McCarthy and Morales sign a new contract, sort of getting their futures sorted. It
Yeah.
should mean that we don't need to really play with Gareth Barry in having to. We shouldn't need to have two holding centre midfielders against a team like Watford on the first day of the season at Goodison Park.
No.
He should have just said, "Listen, lads, go out there, express yourself, and beat these." And he didn't, and I think that needs to be addressed quite quickly because I just don't think we need that extra holding player anymore. Or if we do have it should be someone like Cleverly or Barkley, someone who can go through different stages of the pitch. Not someone like Gareth Barry's just going to sit back and, you know, and just he doesn't. I don't know. I don't really know what he offers anymore because, to be honest, I thought he looked better when he played left back. To be honest.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Although I was kind of hoping that Kone came in and played left back, but um, kind of good that he didn't, because he
No.
actually was probably the most effective player on the pitch, even though he was on the pitch for less than a half of a half.
Yeah, he run around a lot and scored. Good on
Yeah,
him.
hold the ball up. Yep,
That's more than a few other players did.
yep.
Run around, which
Two
is
two.
which again is what the manager should be instructing them to do, especially first half when it was just like watching tennis.
It was kind of like
Right,
a
right,
little
left,
girl's
right.
ballet class, 2-2.
Yeah, yeah. But it was. It just
And
feels. It's just left, right, left. It's just like watching tennis, and
yeah,
I think that needs to be addressed quite quickly because
Hey,
it's
the pitch looked really nice.
yeah, looked great. It was
Yeah.
green, but I think we need to address the things that we haven't already addressed, and
That is very profound.
the season's already started, and there's 2 weeks left of the transfer window, so needs to get it done kind of quick.
So who do we get in? Aaron Lennon? Is he coming?
I think Carolina will come at some point. I think the plan was always to bring him back, but I think the plan was to bring him back possibly January when you could probably get him for a million or two. Spurs have
Right.
already said they've got
No place.
no place for him, so therefore his value should have dropped from that. Now whether they go and get him say deadline day, he wants to sign for us. He's basically said he wants to sign for us.
Right.
Um, so there's not going to be any kind of bidding war or anything. I think it's just a case of I would have said January would have been the best time, but that might be speeded up if we can't bring anyone else in. So he's definitely one.
Nolito?
Oh, I'd love Nolito. Everyone knows my feelings towards Nolito.
Uh-huh.
But he has been, and this is mad. He's rumored to be Pedro's replacement if Pedro leaves Barcelona to go
Yeah.
to Manchester United.
I
And he's
heard we've had a bid accepted for Shaqiri.
the, the one from Barcelona.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's
Can she bring?
Shakira.
Oh, I was going to say, can she bring Puyol with her?
Right. No. Uh, but except apparently he decided to go to Stoke instead. It's like
Yeah,
your second favorite most placed ped,
yeah. It's like, yeah,
right up there with Newcastle.
he's gonna go to Stoke for 12 million. Okay,
Learn learn how to make pottery.
does he want to come to us on loan? I don't think you understood the question. Um, I don't know. I don't know if we necessarily needed him or whether he would have been the right fit for us for 12 million. But it's
It's only
you know
12 million.
well, yeah, it is actually. That's the way the world's going now. It is only
Isn't it
12
just
million,
mad?
and we still look at figures like that like it's some kind of astronomical thing. Whereas we're seeing
Like it's almost half of our debt.
we're seeing very very average players move from Championship sides to Premier League sides for like
How
eight,
much is
nine,
Hibbert worth? Can we get him sold?
a couple of fish.
A carp. So a couple big old carp.
Carpe diem.
Yeah.
Season.
So he's injured.
Yeah,
Probably done.
probably. I mean, he wasn't really up to much last season, and again, why the manager persists, I'll never know. He's one of them. He's great to have around the training ground. Cool, make him a coach.
Yeah.
Don't
Send him
don't
off to get his licenses.
yeah. Don't let him take up a place that someone else could be taking up. Which maybe now
Maybe he
this year
could train up John Stones to not dive in on fake shots
possibly
from outside of the box.
possibly.
Um,
Well, maybe this kid that's going in from Barnsley might be like a replacement right back in the short term. I know he's supposed to be a centre half, but maybe in the short term he could be a replacement right back. But
for Coleman, whenever
yeah,
we sell him.
yeah, I won't sell him. But yeah,
Just start all sorts of rumors.
Hibbert's injured. Baines is out till around the
Christmas
14th of November or something like that. It's
probably end
ridiculous.
up being Christmas.
Yeah, play gets injured the day before
No,
the
no,
season starts.
Fayu's got a hamstring-ish thing,
Mm. Well, he'll always have a hamstring-ish thing though, always because he's just
right?
so fast.
I'm waiting for Morales to have a hamstring-ish thing.
Yeah, he'll have one in the next few weeks. They all have hamstring-ish things. Not, it's Everton, isn't it? But
Yeah.
um, it's 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 yeah. So Baines is out now for like 3 months.
Do we know what's wrong with Baines?
Yeah, he got kicked on his ankle, the same ankle that he had the injury at the end of the season. So basically, they brought him back
Yeah.
within. He played in a couple of friendlies, and then he gets injured making like a block tackle the day before the season starts. So it's like very much like Barkley
Barkley from
last
last
season,
year.
last season. So, but it gives
Barkley
Oviedo
Mark II.
a chance, I suppose. It's ironic that Garbett went out to Fulham and then got injured for Fulham.
Yeah.
So I think it gives Oviedo a chance, even though Galloway was there on Saturday. But I think Oviedo should be definitely the replacement, because don't forget, a couple of seasons ago when Baines got injured against Liverpool, we all feared the worst. And
Yeah.
Oviedo came in, and Oviedo was brilliant. Now
Yep.
Oviedo's obviously been cursed with his own injury problems, and whether he's still got that pace, I don't know. But I think he definitely deserves a
He
chance.
showed a couple of runs that were
Mm.
were nifty,
Yeah, I mean,
useful. So
defensively, he's not brilliant defensively, but he can get forward, and I think assists and popping up with the odd goal like we've seen at Old Trafford. He's still. So let's hope he can come in and do something. It's just a big miss going forward, because Baines was at 9 assists last
that
season.
and that and there's nobody playing in front of the left back for us. So
Yeah, that's sort of a problem as well.
kind of
Basically no one on the left hand side. No, the left.
not really anything to be concerned about,
Yeah, yeah.
but uh,
Carry on as normal.
whatever.
Yeah,
We've seen this before.
yeah. We've seen this all before. But yeah, I mean, we've got 8 million centre midfielders, so that'll be interesting.
It's
Um,
great for being able to open up the center of the pitch
mm.
whenever everybody's there.
Well, again, though, talking about change of
Great for
formations,
being creative.
we talked about that, change of formations. Saturday we had like 5 in there, so Watford have 5 in there, and so there's 10 players all in the middle of the park. You wonder why we find it hard to score goals. It's because we make it so cluttered, and then Coney comes on, it's real tough for him. Suddenly Barkley's got more space, because they need to look after another forward, and we're finding space in the right areas, and that surely got to open Roberto Martinez's eyes to what we need to start doing, and utilise the likes of Ross Barkley in midfield. So I hope that happens. I hope that starts happening anyway. But it's just been a weird summer, hasn't it? It's been very,
Kind of
it
just
was,
blah.
yeah. I mean, I suppose, like, cleverly we all sort of knew he was coming in, and then the Delafeu sort of rumours sort of started the day we played West Ham, and Rom scored the goal and did the celebration, and it sort of just rumbled on from there. And there was always that feeling he was going to come back, and since then, nothing's happened. And as I say, a couple of
Can
youth
you yeah? Can you go to the bookies and already put down a bet for the first match next year at 2-2 and see what kind of price you'd get? This is the third straight year Roberto Martinez Everton squad has started out the year 2-2.
Depends what league it's in, though, doesn't it? Um, so we'll
Champions League.
yeah.
Not usually the first match of the year, Ped.
So we definitely need to just, I don't know, something needs to change, or because I just don't think these players quite suit the way Roberto Martinez wants to play anymore. I think he's got a philosophy that it worked when he first came into the club, and I just don't know. I just don't think it works anymore. I think too many people are onto the way we play, and know how to play against it. So things need to change now. Whether that's down to personnel, whether he needs to go get another centre forward, possibly so. Anyway, I think he needs to go get a centre forward. Needs cover at the back as well. It's funny every time you hear well, John Stones, being linked away, and every newspaper saying he's going to leave the club, and they're just like, you're joking, aren't you? We've only got two centre halves as it is, to lose another one. So that's what just makes you laugh about all the
We
stories.
got
But
Browning in the wings, and
we got Brannan, but we've got Brannan, like he's played lots of games in Premier League. It's a big 2 weeks. I think it's a really big 2 weeks. I think it's a. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. About a month ago, I'd resigned myself to this season just being nothing, just being absolutely nothing, just being a tedious sort of nothing season, and nothing has really changed my mind on that. I think we'll win some games, we'll lose some games. I think it'll be very much like last season. Hopefully, we can have a cup run to make it, slightly exciting. But I just feel like the whole club's on hold till
yeah,
next year. I mean, these.
and there's not really any reason for it. Why?
Well,
Why on hold for another year?
because this is just my thoughts on the matter, and this is nothing else but my thoughts. But next season, the TV deal comes in, the new TV deal, and I just feel like the club are positioning themselves to be bought next summer. And again, I just say that at the top of my head. I just feel like the whole thing is on hold. It's almost like
getting rid of all their debt.
try and get the debt. Try and use the money to get the debt down. To make it, well, some people will have different theories on why they want the debt down, but let's play it from a positive point of view. To get the debt down, to make the club more attractive to buy. Plus, you've got the TV money coming in as well. So you've just got this massive Premier League domestic deal being signed. You've just got this massive NBC deal just being signed.
Yep.
It's guaranteed.
6 more years, yeah.
It's guaranteed massive cash by being in the Premier League, and I just feel like Everton have just basically said this season, everything's on hold. We'll bring 2 or 3 players in to replace the players that went. We won't sell anybody. We'll offer new contracts to the players you want to keep, but everything else is just on hold. We're not going to make any massive signings. We're just going to keep everything on hold for another year, and then we will reassess the situation and hope that the club might be purchased. That's just the way I feel. That's just I just can't. I'm trying to wrap my head around why we haven't bought any players. And I know loads of people out there think what is going on at the club is okay and the people are doing a great job, but there's lots and lots of money in the Premier League and we don't seem to have any, and no one can put their finger on why we don't have any money, and it's just baffling in a way. So I mean that's the only conclusion. That's the only positive conclusion I can come up with, because otherwise I just don't know what's going on. And it's this summer's just, it's been building and building and building every single day, every single week. It's been building and people are getting more angry, and there's just no communication coming out of the club. The club are very, very quiet on the situation. There's no signs of anything happening. Now we're seeing new groups having meetings and deciding what they're going to do and have banners. And listen, that's totally up to them. I've got no problem with anyone who's listened to this podcast from the start knows that being there, seen there, done it. You know what I mean? So I've got no issues with anyone doing what they want to do, because there's just a lack of there just doesn't feel like anything's really going on at the club. It's so weird, and as I say, the only thing I can think of is it's
feeling very Stokish.
Well, that's not even feeling Stoke. Everyone's buying players. Look at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are buying players for £10 million. Every club is out there smashing
their record transfer fees,
the transfers. And I know people will say, well, we did it last summer with Romelu Lukaku, but
we also sold Fellaini.
Exactly. It's just I just can't. The excuses anymore don't really wash, do they? About the Premier League is just full of money, and where's ours going? And I think when the finances come out, it'll show the debt will be down, And I just think that we are just trying to get rid of the debt, and we are trying to position ourselves in a year's time that we will be an attractive buy. That's the only thing I can rationally come up with, honestly. I can't start like spinning webs or I can't be coming out with and saying this or saying that because I don't know. All I can think of is the only positive thing I can think of is that they're just trying to lower the debt to sell the club. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, I am just completely complexed by the whole situation. And this time next year, I'll be very interested to see where we are because,
maybe they're buying a toffee copter.
Maybe they are. Maybe they're starting the rent purchase on it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. And I just think the lack of dialogue. Well, it's always been lack of ambition, I suppose. But there's a definite lack of communication amongst the fans, because if that is the plan, I don't, I would definitely feel like the club should just make fans aware of that, and I know they can't say too much, but just tell people there's a plan. There doesn't seem to be.
The problem with that is it's kind of a boy who cries wolf scenario at this point, because there's been plans, and they've had plans to make plans, to create plans, and it's 15 plus years later, and there's no new stadium, there's no trophies, there's no excitement about the potential to win anything.
No, you're right, because in Liverpool at the moment, the skyline. You look, if you're on a good vantage point, you can see the Liverpool's new stand getting built. Now, that's promise to their fans. They can see this new stadium being built.
Oh yeah, it's in investment. It's
promise. It's there. You can say that's going to become something, and from that we will earn money, and from that we will buy players. Whereas Everton fans, they just look at the situation and go, nothing's happening. I mean, again, the new stadium.
How's the Park End enclosure at Goodison for the first match this year? Shouldn't it have been open by now?
The what now?
The Park End enclosure.
The Park End Everton Place.
Yes.
Oh,
shouldn't that have been open? This
It probably would have been. It probably would have been. Well, we could have been in at least 2 stadiums by now. Things like that. It's like Walton Park.
Welcome to the Everton depression zone.
Well, it's sort of become that, isn't it? No, but it's just that's what I'm saying. But these are the questions people are wrestling with every single day, and people wonder why the atmosphere at the ground's there.
The chatter on Twitter is definitely getting more and more angry.
It's toxic. But again, I can't sit here and judge anyone and say you shouldn't be doing that or you shouldn't be doing this. It's fully understandable. People want answers, and they're not getting answers. And the club could come out and say, well, we're saving all the money because of the potential of moving to Walton Park, or we're doing this. This is nothing. No one's saying anything to anyone.
You just want to have the sense of whenever a match starts, we've got every opportunity to take 3 points. And at the moment, that's not necessarily the feeling around the fans.
Yeah.
And it's frustration again.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I'll tell you one thing. The group, there's different people organised in different groups, and that's up to them. They're perfectly within their rights, and they're saying they're going to have banners at the ground, or or they're going to have whatever. Totally up to them. But what I would say, if they're going to do that, then I hope that the atmosphere within the ground starts to change. Do you know what I mean? So if you're gonna have protests, then have your protests, and then let's get the atmosphere back at Goodison. You know what I mean? It's like let's take all that misery out.
But you're not supposed to talk during a tennis match, Ped.
That's what it sort of feels like. But let's get rid of all that misery, or frustration
You know how
out.
you do that? You do that by winning,
No,
by
no,
by
but
coming out
sometimes
and
no.
being positive.
We've been better. We've been Everton have been a lot worse than this, and the atmosphere's been better in the ground. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if the players, if fans maybe have the chance to voice their frustration in the way they want to, and then we get in the ground and then we start making the atmosphere positive for the players to play in. So voice your frustrations in whatever manner you want, and then let's get in the car, let's get in the ground and make it a positive atmosphere. So actually, it's the opposition team who start feeling like they're the ones who don't want to play Goodison rather than the home players. Again, that's not slagging off anybody in the ground at the moment who is doing whatever they want to do. I'm just saying, let's separate the two things. Let's take if that's your frustration, then let's take that out in the ways you want to take it out, and then let's make the ground positive for our players to play in. I remember a few years ago when there was a march down Goodison Road, and I think we were playing Aston Villa, and it happened, and then the fans came in, and the fans were just, it was like the atmosphere suddenly become like electric because they'd done their thing. Everyone came in, and the atmosphere was charged, and it was a positive atmosphere. It was like,
got their moans out. And
yeah, we've got our frustrations out, we've got our moans out, and maybe that's what needs to happen. So people need to get their frustrations out, whichever way they need to do it.
Okay, so everybody just go over to Peds before the match.
Just boo me.
Yes.
You're just a taxi driver. You are just a taxi driver.
You're no journo.
You're not a journalist. You're just a taxi driver.
You have no idea how to make up fake stories every day about selling John Stones. You are not a journalist, Ped.
You are not a yeah. So yeah,
Telegraph.
if that's a journalist. No, but I think the point. I think the point is definitely valid that we need to separate the two things. If there's a frustration towards the board, then let's start taking that frustration out in a manner that is fitting, and then let's get in the ground and let's start backing the players, because it's not the players' fault. And then again, if you've got no problem,
unless they're lazy and aren't trying.
yeah. And then again, if you've got no problem with either, let's just be positive as well. Do you know what I mean? There's just too much infighting at the moment. There's too many people going, I don't like this thing, and then someone goes, well, I don't like the fact that you don't like the thing that and then someone else goes, well, I don't like that you don't like the thing that he doesn't like, and it's just like, oh my God, can we just all
like gag me with a spoon? Can
we all just, if he doesn't like something, then just leave him alone to not like it. Why does it matter to you? Just, I don't see the problem. If someone doesn't like the way the people are running the club, then that's up to them. If you like them, then what's your problem? Just get on with it. Get on enjoying liking what you like. They don't. Two things don't need to merge. So I think that's part of the problem at the moment. There's too many fans at each other's throats, and then you get in the ground, and it's just like people are like, "Why are you booing?" And it's just like, well, and you just. Ooh, it becomes just big mix of like hate, and you just think, aren't we all here to watch Everton play and support Everton? So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to separate the boos for the board from the cheers for the players.
Well, let's start separating
inside the grounds.
Let's start separating, and let's start that then.
So everybody quit your bitching when you're inside Goodison. It's plain and simple. You walk through the turnstiles, you cheer.
Pretty much. Let's get into that. Let's get into cheering. Let's get into supporting, and get into.
When you're in the grounds, be happy.
Yeah.
Because you're there.
Do all your
other things. Tons of people that would love to be there that don't live anywhere near there and can't get to a game but every 5 years because money's and
do it now. Or do it before the game, or do it after the game.
But not inside Goodison.
Let's split the two things now. I think it's time to split the two things, and get back to trying to support the team, and I think that's really important that we do that. Because again, I'm not slagging anyone off. Fully understand the frustrations. It's a being an Everton fan is a weird, wonderful thing. You get people on one side who have got every fact in the world to back up their ideology, and then you've got a person on the other side who just goes, "Well, I like going to match and having a pint," and neither of them are wrong in a
And then
way.
going
You know what I
home
mean?
and being with my family, and then getting up and going to work on Monday.
Yeah, neither of them are wrong. But I think what needs to happen is they both need to stop telling each other they're wrong. Just
But you're
neither of
wrong,
them are,
Ped.
maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, rather than the two people telling each other they're wrong, because neither are wrong. They both have their opinions on something, and neither of them are wrong. If you've got facts to back something up, or you say you've got facts to back them up, then you, in your opinion, you're right. And if someone else goes, well, I like just going to match, and I like watching the football match, and I like going for a pint, and I like meeting my mates, and I go home and I forget
Right, but if
about
you
it.
love Everton, you should care more.
Don't start fighting. Don't start fights. I'm just saying. I'm more annoyed about people going, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, you're wrong. Just if you've got an opinion, like, just talk to each other, and there's no.
The next person that just tells you that you're wrong, Ped, just give them a hug and say,
No,
it's
no,
it's not your fault.
no, because I'm not
It's
wrong.
not your fault.
Yes, no, I'm
not-
in the boat. I'm in the boat.
It's not your fault, Ped.
I know, Eric.
No, it's not your fault.
I know, Eric. Don't you do it, Eric! Don't you do it!
Ped, it's not your fault. We all love Everton. It's not your fault.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where we are right now. It's a bit crap. We've got Southampton on Saturday. That makes it a little bit crapper, but we need to
Who lost late to those guys?
We need who?
Those other guys.
They drew.
Huh?
They drew. We don't know.
Did they not lose 1-0?
No. That was Stoke, you absolute muppet.
No.
Nah, Southampton drew 2-2 with Newcastle. You fool. It's 3:45 in the morning for me, not for you.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a tough game, hard place to go. But maybe if we could get something down there, then maybe that'll be like, see, we can do it. We can have a go. We can stick together.
Well, it's set up the way that we love to play. It's set up for them to come at us, and we get on the counterattack, and we play like we are good at playing, and defend first and get out on a break and
maybe make a sub.
Yeah, and make a sub. Yeah. I was thinking maybe hold up the ball and not lose it with your first touch, but that's something else.
Oh man. I think this has been one of the most Catholic shows we've ever had, hasn't it?
Without a rant, without a Ped's rant.
It's been like dead quiet and dead laid back, and like it's quite clear that I am absolutely knackered because I'm so quietly spoken when and we haven't had any breaks, and I don't think there's been any robots, and we haven't really. We just. Hey man, I feel like I took the space cake or something.
Did you take the blue pill, Ped?
I did. I just pulled myself out the pod and pulled all the pipes out.
Yes. He's gonna blow.
So yeah. So let's hope we win or we get something and then get back to good for the week. And then let's hope get a decent result. Come back next week. Buy somebody who isn't 12, and let's hope, and then let's get on with the rest of the season. And as I said before, if you've got problems, let's
Leave your problems at the
Leave your
door.
problems at the door. No, if you've got problems, then let's see what we can do about them problems in a good fashion, and let's stop our. I feel like Jerry Springer, and I'll give him a little thing at the
Yes.
end. Let's start taking all our problems out on each other. No, let's just make Goodison a nicer place to go and watch football, because in the last year I have just not enjoyed anything about Goodison Park. It's been just horrible. So let's make it uncomfortable for the opposition teams rather than us, because it's crap. So it's just a crap place to be and watch football at the moment. And I've watched a lot worse football, and the atmosphere would be a lot better. Um, and I'm not being like,
That's
you think
because you're
this is
you're starting to get into MLS more. But
yeah, but it's not. That's not me going. Oh, you think this is rubbish? You should have seen us. No, I'm just
you
saying.
should see Montreal play.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we, we need to start like sticking together a little bit more during the games, and because because that's just the way I feel about it. So, but dude, that's just my reference. That's just my point of view.
And that's all that matters.
I feel like I've mellowed quite a lot over the summer.
Probably. I think you've just given up, Ped. Haven't?
Probably, maybe I've given up getting my haircut. I've given up getting my haircut anyway. I know that.
Yeah. You look like a hippie.
I do. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
You goddamn hippie.
Yeah. Anything else we care to talk about in this inaugural
Chilled out.
podcast for the?
It's the new and improved chilled out Folotonians.
Yeah.
Folotonians after dark.
No, there's none of that going on. Yeah. Shut up. All right. Say bye, Ped.
Bye.
Come on, you Blues. Let's go.